Laura Kusto, welcome to the podcast this week. It is so good to have you here, and I can't wait to hear about what you do here at BCD. So why don't I pass the microphone to you and you give us the kind of 30-second brief. What are you? Where's your role? Where are you living? All of the good stuff, maybe even a little bit of your history here at the company.
No, sounds great. So yes, I'm a senior director, and I'm the global lead of spend management consulting and dynamic sourcing in the Hotel Solutions group. So Hotel Solutions is that new organization that was formed this year to help BCD create this laser focus on hotels in the marketplace, and we'll get into that, of course. But yeah, I've been with BCD a little over a year. And prior to BCD, I was with Hilton for the better part of a year, sitting kind of on the other side of the negotiation table is what I like to say when it comes to negotiating rates. And then prior to that, I was with American Express for a little over a decade, essentially doing a lot of the work that my team here at BCD does today. And then I guess on a personal level, I'm based in beautiful Big Sky, Montana. One of the benefits of working for a virtual company. I live in the mountains with, I have a 5-year-old daughter and a couple doggies, and yeah, we love life. And every once in a while I get to travel and see other parts of the world. So.
And we love that you are with the BCD family out of Big Sky, Montana. Fantastic. Well, Laura, this Hotel Solutions piece has been something that we're seeing a lot more of in all of the company collateral and materials that are coming out. Could you give us a kind of overview as to why would BCD be wanting to, like you say, have a laser focus in the hotels?
Yes, and it's because the hotel space has changed so much. If you go back 20 years ago, the internet was around, but starting to gain steam. And then you think about how much our phones have changed, say in the last 5 to 10 years with all the apps that we have, right? And along with all of that, so the apps, when you think about the apps, that has a lot to do with how people view technology and how they view their ability to get things done. Everything from ordering things on Amazon, grocery shopping for clothes, keeping in touch with people, and to booking travel. Booking travel has a consumer component to it, and business travelers are everyday consumers, just like people who don't work in the travel industry or who don't travel for business. And so expectations around what the travel experience should be like have changed. And then along with that, companies like Travelocity, Expedia, you have HRS now, Booking.com, Hotels.com. Those didn't exist 20 years ago. And they have entered the space, and they've started to now, and it hasn't just been now, but they've got this new foray into business travel. And so the problem that we have right now with hotels is that there's so much content. There's so many people out there, companies out there that are sending rates to consumers that the business traveler often gets conflicting signals between their mandated or, company endorsed travel program and the things that they're marketed to or things that are coming at them in their everyday lives. And so that is the challenge really is, how do we help our clients guide their travelers to make the buying decisions that they want? It's getting harder and harder for travel managers to compete with all those other types of content coming at the travelers from those different entities distributing hotel content. And on top of that, their business travelers have expectations when it comes to what the booking experience should be like because of the improvements. Yeah, because of the improvements that they've had in their everyday life.
That's very clear. Actually, that cleared up a lot for me too, Laura. Thank you. Here's a kind of reverse flip question. When you, as you said, were on the other side of the table, what is some of the challenges that you were seeing on that other side that you've been able to now step into BCD and say, aha, I know because I've sat there?
I see more clearly the drive from the chains and why they want to market direct to the consumer, because they can make it more personal. And anytime you make something personal, it's just more memorable. It's not this sort of insignificant experience. I learned when I was on the other side, I learned a lot about, revenue management and, hotels, what they're looking at on a daily basis in terms of, filling up their hotel, staying relevant to the corporate clients that they've got coming through their doors every day. But, a lot of the different things that they have going on just on property are just incredible. I worked more at a Hilton worldwide level, but when I would go visit properties, it's just fascinating that like the hats that a general manager will wear. We actually just hired a former GM of a hotel into my team. And I'm anxious for her to just kind of share some stories across the team of the things that she deals with. But it's we look at the relationships with the hotels from just a very singular focus, the corporate, traveler, or maybe a meetings perspective, right? But from the hotel perspective, the things that because again, they're dealing with those everyday consumers that are coming through the hotels, and those are the travelers that often bring a lot of the liveliness to the hotel. I like to say liveliness is a relative term there.
and your role specifically, and you say your team, what is your team focusing on, amongst the hotel umbrella at BCD Travel?
Yes, so two primary things. So we are the spend management consulting side of it is the former Advito hotel practice. And so when I hired in, I actually hired into Advito. And as part of the formation of Hotel Solutions, my team moved over to that organization. And so any consulting engagement for hotel sourcing, so the annual RFP event where, say, you've got ABC company, and a lot of the agents will recognize this sort of terminology, but ABC company preferred rates. A lot of those rates are negotiated by my team. That's what we do. And so we work with mostly, more of the very large global clients, some smaller ones, but typically clients that have maybe 10 million or more a year in hotel spend will oftentimes consult with a third party, with Advito, and it can still be Advito or Hotel Solutions. They can be sold that through either medium today still, but they work with us and we do the sourcing for them. And then the other part that spend management consulting does is after the sourcing event is done, we enter into another phase when, during the year we're not doing the sourcing, which is called dynamic performance management, where we're continually looking at the rates. We're looking at the rates that corporation is booking, and we're looking at what bar is. So we actually bring in a lot of data into our team on a monthly basis, and then we try to make sure that the rates are performing. And if they're not, we'll go back to those hotels and renegotiate. We'll add properties, we'll remove properties, but it's this ongoing optimization piece. So that's really the consulting side of things. Although we're also with the new organization, we're getting into some new stuff too. You may be familiar with rate caps. So.
Okay. You said caps?
See a lot of
CAPS?
Yeah, CAPS,
okay.
A rate caps, yep. And again, a lot of the agents will be familiar with this. Some companies have rate caps on their programs. So when a traveler is, say, going to Chicago, a rate cap will pop up, and it'll say you can't book more than $300. Right. Well, we'll help the clients figure out what those rate caps should be. But we're actually moving now in a different direction where instead of giving them a cap, which tells them how much they can book, the maximum, we're going to give them what we call a rate target, which is a lower amount, and it's meant to be sort of a goal. Try to hit this amount. And what that does is it ultimately helps the company save money, because when you give them a cap, what do people do? If you're told you can spend $300, right, what are you going to do?
I will book Economy Plus at $300.
Exactly. And so we're going to now go with this target model, which again, we're going to use data and analysis to figure out what those targets should be. And so instead of a $300 cap, we're going to say $225 target. Now, you may not always be able to hit it, but travelers are it's a behavioral science thing. They're going to feel a little not so good if they can't hit that amount, right? They're going to feel like they're maybe not behaving. And so,
is there incentives around that? Sorry, Laura, I want to jump right in there. Mm-hmm. Is there an incentive for me as the employee then for that $75 save? Where does that $75 go between the $225 and the $300? Should I save that because I've hit my target now?
Mm-hmm. So some companies actually do sort of a savings share with the clients. There's a couple of I think our partnerships, Solution Source partners. Rocket Trip is one where they'll actually share some of the savings with the client. So there are some models out there like that. Mm-hmm. We will help a client support that if that's the direction that they want to go. It's probably not something that we would recommend they go out in full force. It's not a, it's fine if they want to do it. We don't think that they necessarily need to. Travelers are out there spending company funds, and really it all just comes down to making smart buying decisions. And the way hotel programs have been configured historically has not driven smart buying decisions. And so, we're not necessarily trying to help companies save as much as we are trying to get them to spend at levels that they should be spending at.
Cool. And so between the sourcing and the negotiation, if I could ask you to change hats right now, because a lot of our listeners probably hear negotiation and either get really, really scared or really, really excited when they hear that word. As just an individual or, a colleague of ours, what would be 1 to 2 negotiation tips? Because I know that each of us negotiate every single day, whether it's with our kids, whether it's with, the cell phone network that we're trying to negotiate a better rate with, or the TV package. What would be some of your top tips for negotiation?
Oh yeah, I love negotiation. I used to be afraid of it too, though. When I first started doing this, maybe 15 years ago, I was terrified of negotiation. But now I absolutely love it. And my friend was actually talking about renting a new house, and the rent offered was a huge increase from the prior tenant. And I said, let me help you negotiate. I do it every day. I love it. So yeah, so negotiation, I guess, a few things I would say. Number 1, gather your data, know your data points, know what's fair, do your research, and get as much information as you can, understand the data points, understand, what factors your opponent has playing in their favor versus what you have playing in your favor. Don't shy away from understanding the things that are a benefit to your opponent. You need to be well educated. So that's probably the best starting point that I would give you, is gather all your data. And then you have to craft your story. Understand, what you have available, to offer and your benefits. I just did a webinar a couple of weeks ago for the BTN forecast, and I walked through a couple of actual negotiation strategies. And one was, was in a big market. And if you're a client and you have a lot of spend coming to a market and you want to try to continue to drive savings, it all comes down to what are you prepared to offer. And in this scenario said, let's say you're giving a hotel a third of your room nights. So let's say 15,000 room nights, 5,000 of them are going to one hotel.
Wow.
Well, could you maybe give them more room nights? Because your travelers are already really loyal to that hotel anyway. They probably love staying there. And you can engage your travelers in their online booking tool to help move that share and push, say, another 2,500 room nights. So bring half of your room nights to that one hotel. Well, in a scenario like that, you're going to double, or you're going to increase their business by 50%. Any hotel is going to give you a better rate when you do something like that.
Right.
And so the example I walked them through really just said, hey, the market here is forecasted to go up a little bit, but when you're going to do something like that, you can actually negotiate a decrease in your rate in exchange for more volume. So volume plays like that are really, really cool. And then the last tip I have, and this is one that we're talking about a lot, and it is so powerful, and you can actually go out and watch a video on YouTube. Just if people want to Google this, but it's called, the series is called Why Are We All So Stupid? And that's kind of funny. But Why Are We All So Stupid? Jelly beans. And this video will show you that it has been scientifically proven that the biggest predictor of the outcome of a negotiation is the first offer in the negotiation. And so, for example, if you and I are negotiating the price of a car and you are selling it and you throw out $20,000,
Laura, thank you so much for joining us this week. I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge with us, and I'm going to include that BTN piece in the show notes for anyone that's interested in hearing more about the webinar and more about what you do. We hope to rock and roll with Hotel Solutions too. Everybody have a great week. This is Chica signing off. Thanks again, Laura.
Thank you.
I'm Chica Eloy, and this is a conversation designed for BCD people with BCD people. On this show, we're running through the diverse cultures of talent at BCD Travel, and we're showcasing our most confident self-colleagues. So come on, let's go have some fun as we explore the different functions, spaces, faces, and the complexities across our world of BCD.